Hi everybody, Mike Gochi here from the lovely One Elgin restaurant at the National Arts Center. Again, we're excited and delighted to have another special guest with us this week. Chef Shaban Detkovich. Chef, welcome.
Thank you.
I want to know, when you introduce yourself to somebody, how do you introduce yourself to them?
Hi, I'm Shaban. Hey.
What do you do for a living?
I used to work in a restaurant, but I wanted to kind of direct my life in a way that I could have more of a work-life balance, but still enjoy what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, like I still love like the line cook work and everything, and just getting nailed during dinner service. But I think at the same time, it comes, like my partner works like one of those pretty much 9-to-5 office jobs.
Oh, really?
And so when you're working a complete opposite schedule, I wanted to make sure that our life was balanced enough that we just didn't feel like roommates. What I've been up to lately is focusing more on a lot of, I have helped co-create a project that focuses on Indigenous youth. And working within like the Indigenous communities. I've been doing a lot of traveling lately, so that's been not too bad of a pastime. And yeah, just trying to make the most of what 2023 has to offer. There's been a lot of exciting brand opportunities to partner with.
Okay.
And really from here, it's just seeing what 2024 has to offer.
That's hopeful.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about the Ballantine Project?
Absolutely. So the Ballantine Project was founded by an Indigenous man. His name's Dwight Ballantine. And he created the project to be a motivational speaker in a sense, and just like a speaker in a sense of letting people know the realities of what life is really like on reserves.
Okay.
And the hardships that you truly endure kind of like based off generational trauma, because there's so much information out there that you're really missing. But they wanted to create like a food component with the Ballantine Project because there is such a need in remote and northern Indigenous communities for access to fresh and healthy food.
Yeah.
And as we've probably seen over whether it's the news or just anything on social media, food is not only for ourselves, but like especially in northern communities, is just astronomically expensive. So we kind of wanted to build ourselves our little community where we can go up to different Indigenous reserves and essentially bring our own food banks. So then they would have access to fresh and healthy foods. Since our pilot project has ended, we are now shifting the focus to work more so like with the Indigenous youth on a trip that we call the We See You trip. Okay. Essentially kind of highlighting and hopefully to inspire the Indigenous youth by opening it across Canada and allowing the kids in their schools to apply to come out for an all-expense paid trip, show them post-secondary schools, and hopefully kind of show them an easier way to transition off of reserve into like city or town life, wherever they decide to go. Yeah. It really is just bringing the kids down and hopefully kind of give them that little bit of spark and show them Dwight's done amazing things, and with my story, just kind of give them a little bit of hope and inspiration that it's like, you can really do anything you put your mind to.
I'm curious to know what your experience at Okanagan College was like.
It was great, to be honest. Of course, with all things, like you have your highs and your lows.
Yeah.
The program that I took actually is different than the program that they offer now. But I went to Okanagan College, I was 16 years old, and I commuted from Oliver to Kelowna every day. So it's about
really?
Hour and a half each way. I bought a Jeep as my first vehicle, and that was not the smart investment.
Didn't get your money's worth out of it?
Oh, sure didn't. But no, it was awesome because it ended up just being kind of like almost like serendipitous in a way that, so when I started going to culinary school, the culinary director there at the time found out who my chef was. And in that moment of like revelation, he's like, my apprentice is your chef, so you're my apprentice's apprentice. And then that was kind of like, you're pretty much like my grandchild. And she was pretty much one of his prodigies, if you will. Yeah. And just an incredible chef. She did a whole bunch of like competitions, and essentially he turned around and was like, you're the next Jenna. So
like it or not.
Yeah. Within my first year, I did about 12, 13 competitions.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and with that, I ended up going to nationals for one of my competitions and placed bronze. Nice. And it just really gave me a lot of opportunity to be exposed to what the industry had to offer, and just kind of like the beauty of it all, just the way that everything kind of fell into place. It was very much, I just kind of fell into a niche and really, you know, blossomed to where I am now.
Like, you know, you're so young, you're so talented. I'm just kind of curious to know how you got the bug, because you're here now and you're cooking for us.
I don't know if there was ever like a point in my career where it just kind of like clicked and I'm like, wow, this is amazing. It was just one of those things where, I mean, what still drives me today is, and then like what it did back then was just seeing the chefs that I was working alongside, working under, like training under, just seeing the passion that they had just got me excited. So it's one of those like, you know, rippling effects where it's like when you have enough energy, it rubs off on people. And so when they just had the right energy about like, you know, yeah, I'm so passionate about what I'm doing, it just continuously kept pushing me. Just, I guess like with the competitions and like throughout practicing, it just kind of seemed to flow in a very easy sense. Being able to throw random like flavor combinations and just happen to have them like work out together was definitely something that I'm like, oh, like, you know, I thought I got lucky once, but it's worked out quite a few times. So I guess like there's something there.
I do have talent.
Yeah. And you know, before you know it, like I was 5-6 years in, and then suddenly I'm standing in front of like, you know, Mark McEwen on Top Chef Canada. And that I think was definitely the biggest like, whoa.
Yeah. You felt like, yeah, this is like, I belong on this stage.
It was a little nerve-wracking,
Yeah.
for sure. I think with the show, like I was 21 when we filmed that.
Yeah.
And I kind of already went in with the sense that I'm like, well, people are going to be cooking probably longer than I've been alive, who I'm competing against. So there's no way I'm winning like 100 grand, although it would have been nice. But we filmed like just before Toronto went into like the 18-month lockdown for COVID. So we did have a quarantine period before we actually started filming. So me being stuck in like this little hotel room for like 8 days, I was just like, okay, so if I'm not going to win 100 grand, I'm just going to binge watch RuPaul's Drag Race and hope to become a TV personality.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
How about traveling? I read about that you've wanted to travel and explore other cultures through food in other ways as well. How much have you been able to do?
Quite a lot, actually. I've been very blessed with the opportunities that I've had so far up to date. So traveling for me, like, definitely like along with the food, because, you know, food is such a storyteller amongst so many different cultures, but it's also just about the history. And I'm just such a history buff. There's so much to learn out there.
Yeah, and I mean, that's a good segue into, I'd like to know what your approach was when it came to the food you developed with our team here for these events this weekend.
It's my first experience designing a whole restaurant menu.
Yeah.
I've done like your competition menus or like event menus, you know, just like smaller things, but the opportunity to kind of collaborate and create an entire restaurant menu. When I was taking my Red Seal certificate program, part of the curriculum actually was to design your own restaurant. You had to create your own restaurant, and with that, it was just a dinner menu we had to make with it. But I still had it on my laptop, and I was 18 years old when I made that menu. And so this menu definitely draws off the inspiration to kind of like show my 18-year-old self, like, look where you are now. So it's very Tuscan inspired. Thank you, yeah.
That is a great story.
Tuscan inspired with a little bit of like Native American and Hawaiian influence on that. I'd say indigenous, but like, you know, Hawaiian people are like indigenous to Hawaii, and like, you know, so it's really hard to say just indigenous.
Yeah, it's getting to be a generic term now.
It is, yeah. So like there is quite a couple like little like fun twists in there, but definitely keeping it very approachable for all demographics to be able to come in and hopefully enjoy their meal and the experience in general.
Well, I guess I'll wrap it up here. Everyone, Chef Siobhan Detkevich is with us. Chef, thank you so much. It's a real thrill to meet you.
Oh, thank you. It's been such an honor. Thank you.
Well, thank you. See you next time.